welcome to another Nature Must See's video. This month, October, I've got 3 things for you to go out in your local area and see if you can find them. But first, some admin. Apologies for the lengthy delay between videos. It's been a bit manic here. We've been having work done on the house, and downstairs has been pretty much taken back to brick. And during that time, lots of the stuff's been dumped in offices and spare bedrooms and things like that, including the camera gear has been safely tucked away. And what should have taken 5 or 6 weeks is going to end up taking nearly 5 months. Builders for you. So during that time, just not been in a situation really to kind of do any filming, which has been frustrating. And it's been frustrating because I haven't really been able to get out much in that time as well, other than work kind of events. But I have had some nice wildlife encounters, some nice moths in the garden, and just the other day, a spectacular encounter with a young sparrowhawk. Walking back from the supermarkets, just on the edge of the path next to a main road, a young male sparrowhawk on a fresh wood pigeon kill. And at first I just got some video thinking, wow, you know, how novel, not going to be able to see this again. And then I quickly decided, run home, grab the camera, come back. And I wanted to try and get some video, but I'm still a stills photographer at heart. So I managed to get some nice images, or I think they're nice images, of a sparrowhawk. But that's really been about it. Not much, but in the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be getting out lots and lots with the camera to make up for it. And without further ado, on that note, let's start talking about the things that we're going to look for in this coming month, starting with one of the most iconic mushrooms there is, the fly agaric. Now, if I gave you a piece of paper and all the colours of the rainbow to paint me a mushroom, how many of you would go red with white spots? It's an iconic mushroom, the fairy tale mushroom, a typical toadstool, a word I don't really like, and I'll explain about that in another video. But the fly agaric is a typical amanita. That's a big family of mushrooms that's characterised by often starting off in like an egg, bursting through the egg, and having spots on the cap, which are remnants of that egg it's burst through, and they can wash off in heavy rain, and having a ring on the stem. Now, not all amanitas have that, but typical, the big iconic ones, the fly agaric, panther cap, blusher, they all have bulbous base, ring on the stem, spots on the cap. And that red and white spots should be pretty straightforward to identify. I don't really need to go into much detail about how to do it, but occasionally you can get specimens of fly agaric that just kind of trip you up a little. The spots can wash off, as I said, in heavy rain. So after heavy rain, you can just find red mushrooms with no white spots, which can be a little confusing. And sometimes that red can start fading. And as it fades, it reveals orange. And as that fades, it goes yellow. So depending on the condition, if it's a normal kind of season and everything's lovely, it's pretty straightforward. But under extreme conditions, a lot of rain, a lot of heat, things like that, you can get some very, very interesting specimens that can throw you off the scent a little. But the ring on the stem as well, quite distinctive. It starts off as a veil protecting the gills. And as the cap expands, the edge of the cap, the veil folds down onto the stem and forms the ring. So that bulbous base ring on the stem, spots on the cap, that's typical amanita. And it's quite common. It's surprising that in recent weeks, when I've been doing lots of fungi events, people have been surprised to see it because they don't think it exists. They think it's just in fairy tales and it's a made-up species. It's actually really common wherever you get birch or spruce or pine, occasionally things like beech and oak as well. Recently we found a large amount growing under beech trees, which is quite unusual where we are. But it's a very, very distinctive mushroom. Often has a partner in tow called the peppery bolete. And the peppery bolete is a small, modest mushroom, a typical bolete, which have sponge underneath rather than gills, and is bright chrome yellow in the base of the stem. Very hot taste as well, hence the name peppery bolete. And we think that parasitizes the fly agaric, but we're not 100% sure. And wherever you find peppery bolete, the fly agaric is always there. So sometimes if you don't find the fly agaric, but you see the peppery bolete, it means they're lurking under the soil, just waiting for the conditions to be right to start fruiting. But this month, make it your mission. If you've never seen the fly agaric, honestly, places like golf courses or even cemeteries can be fantastic places to encounter this. Wherever you've got dampish places with birch or spruce especially, and make it your mission to enjoy seeing this. We'll deal with all the mythology and folklore that goes with this mushroom in another video. But fly agaric is a must-see in October. So Blackthorn this month is your go-to plant to go and look for. Specifically, it's fruit, sloes. So they're not sloe berries, they are just sloes. It's a blackthorn that produces sloes in the same way that a bramble produces blackberries. And this is a common hedgerow plant, very distinctive in that it has very large thorns. In most cases, multiple inches long that are very, very sharp. And you don't want to get pricked by them because they're often coated in bacteria. And if they go in, they go very deep in, and you're often susceptible to blood poisoning at that point. So if you do get pricked by thorns of blackthorn, take it very seriously. Make sure you clean it, keep an eye on it, make sure you do not get infected. But the fruit are like small marbles at this time of the year. There's a difference between sloes and other members of the plum family, like bullace or damson. And the difference is sloes are like the small marbles, whereas bullaces are like the bigger marbles, if that makes, you get those different sized marbles. Sloes are definitely the smaller one. And they're often very dark blue, covered in like a very light blue kind of powdery cast over them. But that can wash off in rain, that can be brushed off with something touching it, etc. So they can have a different appearance. The leaves are just a simple, typical kind of prunus plum, just round and oval in shape. And it's a typical kind of hedgerow plant, about the same kind of size as hawthorn. So it doesn't grow into a massive tree, it's kind of stocky, etc. But this year, all of the sloes seem early, but a lot of the blackthorn are also producing lots of fruit. Everything this year seems to be producing a lot of fruit. The oak tree is producing an abundance of acorns. Just the rowans, the hawthorn, they're all groaning under their own weight of fruit. And blackthorn, no exception. This is a great, great year for sloes. But interestingly, I don't often see much wildlife interacting with the fruits of blackthorn. I see birds constantly eating hawthorn and rowan and things like that. Blackthorn, occasionally I see wood pigeons, but it's more out of desperation, I think, or boredom, more likely, with wood pigeons. And whether it's because they've got a very large seed inside, whether it's because they have the same effect of drying the mouth out for birds, I don't know. But often the wildlife doesn't seem to like them anywhere near as much as the other fruits they can get from the hedgerow, etc. Normally, you would wait until the first frost to pick them. This year, they've been very, very early. Some sloes have been ripe at the end of August, which is very unusual round here, and definitely ready to pick any time in October now. So if you're wanting to make your own sloe gin, now is the time to do it. Get to grips with blackthorn, have a look for the fruit in the hedgerow. Think about making some sloe gin. Enjoy. Now, I know full well when I look at the analytics on this video to see how well it's done, I'm going to see a sudden drop off at this point in the video as I show the first bit of footage of garden spider. And as someone who is arachnophobic, I hope you appreciate the effort I've gone into filming this little segment, because spiders are not my favourite things. I don't like them creeping up on me in the house and things like that, but I appreciate them. They're an incredibly important part of the ecosystem. They're vilified when they shouldn't be. They're industrial. They're wonderful things. And I'm slowly trying to get my head around them and get used to them. And garden spider, October is a great time of month to encounter this, because this is our typical kind of building a web, sitting in the centre of it with the morning dew on it. Very, very common in gardens. Their webs often cross the path, which is often how I find them. I go out early in the morning to work. Light, it's not quite light yet. And then get a face full of web as I'm walking down the path, and it's like, oh, garden spiders are out this month. And they're very easy to identify, or relatively easy. They're a largish spider and often have a white cross on the back of them, which kind of makes them stand out. But they can vary in colour. You sometimes get much darker ones. So they're a little bit variable. And each day they will build that web. So don't feel too guilty if you accidentally kind of do break the web. They will kind of reconsume that silk and then go again the next night. During the night, they'll build the web and then hopefully catch something, bees and all sorts of little insects and things. They're industrial little workers. So this month, definitely go into the garden. You probably won't struggle to find this. It will be lurking around. In October, when you get that morning dew, it shows off the spider's web so clearly. So that's often the easiest way to find them. And just go and appreciate them. They're industrial little workers. They're minding their own business. They're keeping all the other unwanted insects from the house, etc., out as well. So they're on our side. But yeah, if you're like me, often use a telephoto lens to photograph and film these, and try and appreciate them. I'm trying to appreciate them. I'm really trying. I hope you appreciate the effort I've put into trying to film these. So this month, go and enjoy, go and appreciate some garden spiders. So there are your 3 October species. You've got a fungus, you've got a plant, and you've got a spider to go and look for. You shouldn't have to go far for these at all. They should be very local to you. And if you do find them, let me know in the comment section down below. You can like and subscribe, it helps out the channel, and keeps you informed of our upcoming videos, because we've got some coming out on walks and wildlife, some other kind of very specific how to identify series. And with the whole refurbishment of the kitchen done downstairs, there's going to be some foraging videos as well done in the kitchen, which will be nice to finally get that done. In the meantime, enjoy your October. The migrants are arriving. Redwing fieldfare, they'll be on their way. The pink-footed geese have already started to arrive on the estuary here. And who knows, maybe something rarer like a yellow-browed warbler might turn up. But wherever you go this month, I hope it's wildlife filled, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye.